All right. So we're here once again with my dear friends, Miss Lynn and Stephanie. And ladies, welcome back. And great to see you as always. How you doing today?
Your turn. Yeah.
Doing great, Sean.
Stephanie?
It's
Okay,
great
yeah,
to
see,
see you as
I
well.
usually do that. Yep. I usually put one of you first, and I threw it out there, and it's like, oh no, I'm not stepping in that trap again. So,
No,
Stephanie, how
we're
are
doing.
you? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's freezing where we are, like 10 below today. But we're optimistic that spring is coming. And yeah, no, things are good here in Montana.
That's awesome. And Lynn,
And
how you doing?
Lynn, as Nanook of the North, is doing well. Nanook just stays inside a lot when it goes to 10 below.
Yeah, I
Somebody
think a
else,
lot of people stay inside.
right,
Well,
right.
I will say you're both looking very stylish today with those very cool pieces of jewelry.
Thank you.
And Steph, you know me, I've got pretty much the same one you do, right?
Yeah,
But
you have
mom's got the cool one on there. Mom's got
Yeah.
the like,
Yeah, I've got the turquoise with the elite Shungite on it.
and mine is.
And
I think mine is turquoise with elite Shungite too. You have the multi-stone, Sean.
yeah.
So kind of the man pendant. So
Okay, well, I like the man pendant thing. Yeah,
we have
that
people who
definitely,
say, I want what Sean is wearing.
yes.
That's what the men say. Like, okay.
All I can say is that you are my fashion designers, so I have taken it from you, and now I'm sporting your fashions, and I'm glad that it's picking up and other people want to and wear them as well. That's awesome.
It's fabulous.
It is
right,
fabulous.
and I'll cover a little bit why we're wearing them. It's basically the Shungite and the combination of energies that goes in with the Shungite is beneficial for our balancing our energies when we're in such an electronic with Wi-Fi and just all the electronics we have around us. So that's the big idea of the Shungite pendants. And we also have something in a GANS form, and that is the new tech frequency relief. So that also addresses those types of energies. And I've had people tell me that that's been really good with their plants. And so,
Hmm.
when you think about it, I mean, our pets, our gardens, ourselves, we're all in the same environment. And so, just to show people, Sean, gas in the atomic nanosolid state, let me see, I want it, there you go, is the powder in the bottom here. And it's not really a powder, but it looks like it. Now, the water on the top is changed by the energy of this in the bottom. So what we send out in the vials, or if you're out of the country, the pads that have been soaked in this water, that is what is giving you the energy of whatever you may have decided to have, with your plasma energies. And I'll just show you, because we call it never ending, because you can see when you stir, there we go, when you stir it all up, it just looks like powder, but it's going to settle back out and it doesn't dissolve. So a powder would dissolve and that would be it.
Hmm.
All right, so that's just, and these can take anywhere from 3 to 6 or 7 months to develop. So it
Right.
just in a snap of the fingers, and I think I'll make this tonight. Like I think I'll make a chocolate cake for tomorrow. Not
Yeah.
quite that speedy.
No, but that's a very well documented science, that the process of the GANs to be able to create that plasma energy water. And the beauty of it is the fact that the plasma energy retains, or the water has memory, so it retains that plasma energy for the rest of our lives. So, once you've gotten those vials, they're going to charge your water base stations for the rest of your adult life. And I just love the fact you get so much value for such a nominal small amount of money. So the technology itself is amazing, but with all the benefits and all it can do, being priced very affordable for the average person also makes it a very, very worthwhile investment for everybody's health and wellness.
Right. And one of the things I want to emphasize with this is I tell people, we tell them, use distilled or filtered water. Reverse osmosis water is fine. People will often ask me about well water. That's going to depend on the quality of their well water. And if there's any issues that crop up after several months of having the plasma energy set up and it was all fine, and then if it came to a point that the water smelled funny, every time it has been an issue that they got some contamination in their well. And so I want to make a point of that. The other thing is people will get spring water at the grocery store. Unfortunately, all spring waters are not equal, and some of them have very lovely labels, but it isn't lovely water. Okay. And so I just encourage people. I talked to somebody yesterday in Wyoming. They can't even get distilled water at their store, any of their stores right now. So I would encourage people, address that issue now and get water filters, and I would get some backup filters. Just have them, you know, and be prepared in that way. So,
right. So Lynn, once the water goes through that process of infusing it with that plasma energy, then you're able to go in and add additional ingredients into the water. So that could be minerals, metals, different things. And then that'll basically add those additional energies, which is how then you can go in and start targeting very specific types of things for health and wellness that plasma energy water can address. So do you want to just talk a little bit, because you and Stephanie come up with all these really fabulous different varieties of plasma energy water, and a lot of times they're for addressing very specific types of health and wellness related issues. But do you want to talk just a little bit about that second part of the process then, that you go into customize the energies?
right. This is only one of, well, how many bottles would you say? Almost a couple hundred. Yeah, and so, oh, by the way, you can see this is already settling back out. But there are dozens and dozens of energies that have been put together. So yes, oftentimes I'll go in and make a custom combination of a lot of these energies, and then we'll also do some new things. And we'll talk about some of the specials we're going to have for March that were the newest things that we've done. But one of the sets of combinations that was put together was a package for diabetes. And do you want to just mention a little bit about that?
You go ahead.
Well, okay. I mean, it was Paul had put this together because he had been diagnosed with juvenile onset diabetes when he was 44. That's the type 1 diabetes that says your pancreas is shut down and there's no more insulin. So a lot of people can change lifestyle and I would say walk away from type 2 diabetes. You're not able to do that with type 1. So what he had done is he had put together a protocol that he used, and it did enable him to lessen the amount of insulin he required every day. He was never going to get off insulin entirely because there was no insulin production in his body. But it did help balance things enough that he could cut back the amount of insulin he was taking. Now, the other thing he did, and he was working on a kind of an online course in working with diabetes, and that never did get completed. But some of his videos leading up to that, I put together in a diabetes package that people they can purchase that and purchase the videos that he did do. And it's just a lot of it is discussing lifestyle and things like that. So that's one of the things that we have, and it does seem a lot of people are encountering diabetes. Yeah.
What are the energies that you would use for diabetes?
Well, they're going to include the CO2 and the zinc and some more combinations there. And sometimes when I'm putting things together too, let's say somebody has a lot of anxiety over the whole thing. Well, then anxiety relief is going to be a good addition to that whole protocol. So we just kind of, you know, you want to look at, Sean, you had such a good idea when you said, let's go through all your products. And we did that a few videos. I call it the Cliff Notes. And we went through all of them. And what you suggest that I think is great is have people go through that and look and see what resonates with them.
That's right.
Neither Sean or Steph or I prescribe. You know, we're not medical. And so when people come to me with a long list of, I'm doing this and taking that, and what do you think, and what should I, and I have to stand back and say, I'm not a medical practitioner. I have things I would suggest if I were in your situation. So I want to be real clear about that.
Yeah, and you know, the other thing, Lynn, is that I started off with Superman, Clear Mind, and I think Clear Mouth. But now I've got 7 different energies, and I bought a second container. And so it's not, you know, the main thing ultimately is just getting started and just getting any of them, because you're going to get benefit immediately once you start incorporating this into your lifestyle. Now, as your lifestyle changes, as your budget changes, as you start seeing results and you really start enjoying it, and in other cases, as you start referring it even to family members and friends, you'll find that you're like, you know what? I just saw this latest video. They came out with a new one. I want to get this one. I'm going to add this one. So now I've got 2 containers, a total of 7. But the thing about it also is that, let's say as an example, and we've talked about this before, there was one on there for Alzheimer's. I don't necessarily have Alzheimer's. So your body is only going to take the energies through that plasma energy water that it needs. The other ones it'll pass through. So if there's other vials that are on there that might not be relevant to your specific health and wellness issue, maybe somebody else in the family does have a condition with, say, diabetes, and you're drinking the water, there's nothing wrong with that. Your body's still going to get that plasma energy, but those frequencies or energies that your body doesn't need will just pass right through. You'll still get benefit from the actual energy, but you know, but that's another question that I get. And you know, the main thing, like I say many times, it's not, you know, like you said perfectly, Lynn, just find something that resonates specifically with you, use your intuition, and just get started. And as you go and as you start getting, you know, more used with the product, then you'll, you know, the tendency is normally is to go back and get another one here or there, buy it for a family or friend member for a birthday present or something like that. So, you know, that's kind of been my personal experience. And I think, you know, the other thing to pass on, which I think you touched on briefly, is that plasma energy water is fantastic for your plants. It's definitely great for your animals and their drinking water. It should be used in your coffee, your tea. You take the little spray bottles, put it on your clothes, spray it on the areas of the house that you spend time in. You know, and Lynn, some of our funnest stories are the ones where you're taking the little plasma energy vials and putting those out around the perimeter of your home, and how it sort of has a way of filtering out negative energy from kind of coming in there, whether that's in the form of a human or whether that's in the form of animals, or even in some cases serious weather conditions like flooding, as an example, which you experienced out there in Montana.
Right. And we were very fortunate because the flood that we had, that was the 1,000-year flood, should have impacted the property where I live just by basic gravity, because the street was a little higher than the sidewalk, the lot next door, the driveway next to my property. It never came even across the lot next door, but it took out the sidewalk. So
Right.
it was just very interesting the way all that happened. And you touched on something about the Alzheimer's, and it does seem that there are increasing numbers of autism, which is another condition that a lot of families are dealing with. And we do have something, you know, that is formulated for that. Now, Steph, you might share how the one family has been using it and working with friends.
Yeah, we talked about this last time too, but this woman reached out and ordered some autism relief and some and a pendant for her son who is autistic, and as he's gotten older, it's been very difficult for her, and is just becoming really difficult to manage. And since she has started using the plasma energy and he's wearing his pendant and whatnot, she just has said that it has really changed their lives, which is wonderful. And she has started like a sharing group with a bunch of friends, and they will order different plasma energies and they share all of them, because you can make vials from the vials that you get to share with family and friends. So that's a really neat way of getting more plasma energy out there in the world to help people.
Right. And you know what's interesting is I've sent 2 health and wellness clinics / doctor offices and clinics that have asked me about the plasma energy water. And now what they're doing is they're getting the 5-gallon jugs, they're putting plasma energy on there, and then as a gift to their clients when they come in, they're basically giving a little mini vial of whatever those plasma energy energies are that they've got, but they're giving out a little vial for some of their clients to take home so they can start using that plasma energy at home and getting more regular use of it. So that's one of the beauties of this product, is exactly what you just said, Steph, is that once that plasma energy in the containers is got that energy in it, you can then use that main water source then to create your own little plasma vials and give that out to family and friends.
Right. Yeah, that's really cool that they're doing that.
And there's not a loss of potency with the energies. In other words, when I send a vial that was made from here and I send it to you, and you set your, what I call mother source jar up, or your station as you call it, and you give some to a friend of yours, it still has the same potency.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't diminish. So that's important, for people. And it's a new concept, because we're used to, well, I had a full cup and I gave you half a cup, now I only have a half a cup. And that's
Right.
not the way plasma energy works.
Right.
And the other thing about it is just, when you're talking about plasma energy water, I remember when I first heard the concept of it, and it really took me a minute to wrap my head around it, because I thought plasma energy water, and there's just so much technology out there, but the amazing thing is that we just know so little about how amazing water is. It's living water, and it has the ability to retain memory. And then the other thing, Lynn, that we've touched on a few times, just to bring it up real quick, is that you can change the molecular structure of water with your thoughts. So on our containers, and if you've seen in some of the videos that I've done, I'll write the word love and happiness and peace and write it and put it on my water container. And you can literally transform the molecular structure of water with your thoughts and with your positive energy. So, we start getting into these subjects and we just think water is such a simple thing. But the more we learn about how amazing it is, the plasma energy water is a way to really harness the true power of what water can do for us, and really help, lead us to living much healthier lives just by understanding that and getting that energy into our body.
Exactly. And intention plays a really big part in this. And so what you've just expressed is your intention was written down on your stations, where you put love or peace or joy or whatever it is you want. And as an example, this is just something that I did when the information came out about Ohio. I copied a map and I wrote an intention for that area, and I put a couple of vials of our plasma energy water on that map, and I used peace as one of the vials and energy balancer as another one of the choices. And that may be a little far out and wooey for some people, But there's been Slim Sperling and Raymond Grace are just two people that come to mind that have done a lot of work in this area with energies and intention. So don't overlook that aspect of working with plasma energy water. It enhances.
Yeah. Well, for everything we think we know, there's 100 things more that we don't know. And when you start getting into quantum and you start getting into all these other different fields, especially with intention, which is really generating a plasma energy field, and the more you focus that intention and the more you build it, the stronger that energy field becomes. And that plasma energy field can basically alter and manifest all different types of amazing things. So, you know, that's a skill set everybody has. Not a lot of people harness it or use it, but it certainly has potential. And with the gentleman you just described, and then with Mr. Dan Winter, who's a physicist, he actually will break down the physics and prove it to anybody that wants to really dive deep that that is actually physically true. And that's exactly how it works. So, you know, that's the kind of stuff, Lynn, where you can get more people interacting. They don't have to be geographically right on site. They can be doing things like you are in Montana to start helping things going on in Ohio, other parts of the country, other parts of the world. And I think as we get more educated and understand that, and more of us start unifying to kind of send that love and send that healing energy out there, you know, combined, we really start becoming a force of goodness and wellness. And you know, I think that a lot of that just comes from the knowledge, and that's knowledge, you know, comes from, you know, people like yourself that are doing these types of things, and, you know, actually, you know, having a positive effect on the world. So thank you for bringing that up.
Sure. And we do want to let you know about, this is a preview of coming attractions, our March specials.
Nice.
Right.
So these will go into effect March 1st. And Steph, do you want to go ahead and
yeah, I'll start with the first. We have 3 different specials that we're doing. It's packages, I guess you would say. The first one is the Plasma Energy Station plus our Heavenly Thunderbolt formula. And the total on that is $457, and that's a savings of $157. We like to do specials with the Plasma Energy Station because it's a great way for people to really get a whole lot of the energies and really get a good start with the plasma energy. And so our next one is the Plasma Energy Station plus the Preppers package. Preppers package is the something we did more recently, which is the fruits and veggies and protein. We did 3 separate GANs, and that took quite some time just to get those nutritive energies into a plasma energy solution. So the total on that is $447 for a savings of $147. And what I will say is the Preppers package is already reduced. So when it's combined in this one, it's even more of a savings. So that's a really good one. And then because spring is coming in many cases, spring will be here for parts of the country. We're going to do the Plasma Energy Station with the Healthy Garden package. And the Healthy Garden package is the Super Soil, Sea Essentials, and Natural Pest Away. And the total on that is $527 with a savings of $121. And again, the Healthy Garden package is already reduced. So when it's put in the package, then there's more of a discount. And with the Healthy Garden package, we send out like a diagram of, I think I see it here. I don't know if you can see this, but it's like a diagram that shows the garden perimeter and where to place the plasma energies in the garden, and how that works to put a dome of plasma energy around your garden. So those are our 3 specials. Sean, do you have questions about any of those?
Well, you know, the thing is that plasma energy for plants and other things, I've had many stories. We've been doing this now for quite some time, and I know, Lynn, you have as well. But when that plasma energy goes into plants, it goes into your flowers. I have seen amazing things happen with flowers, just ones that I get from like Trader Joe's, lasting for a month that normally wouldn't last longer than 10 days. And even with plants, getting the plasma energy water and watching them grow faster, it's actually interesting now because I've run across, through a friend of a friend, a gentleman out here that has about, oh man, I want to say he's probably got about 30 greenhouses. They grow geraniums and all kinds of stuff they do for landscaping. And he's willing to give me one of his greenhouses to show him how this is going to alter it. So the next couple of weeks, I'm going to basically get my own little greenhouse, and I'm going to be able to go in there and start using plasma energy water on these plants, and basically be doing a side-by-side comparison to show him, the benefits that he can get with being able to speed up the grow times and create healthier plants by just incorporating this into his routine. And for the cost of what you can generate and do, for the benefits you can get if you're in the agricultural industry, a farmer, whatever it is, this is definitely something that you want to take notice of, because in addition to helping people, this really does help plants. So I'm really happy you got that one for just the agricultural part of it.
Yeah, that's good. And I want to just say something about the preppers package. One of the reasons we did that was because we could see the potential for food costs to rise. And one of my clients that I worked on this morning mentioned that he paid $12 for a head of cauliflower at the grocery store yesterday. So while you may not get the actual vegetable to prepare and be lovely, you can still get the energies and all of the nutritive value for a much more nominal cost.
Right.
Yeah. That is starting to get out of control.
Yeah, it's a great supplemental thing to get those types of energies by drinking the water, for anything that you might not be able to afford, or in some cases, stuff that's just not even available because of various shortages or things going on where it's just not even in stock.
Right.
Well, and one of the things I'll mention is the preppers package. All the foods we sourced in were non-GMO, no pesticide, no herbicide. So, it was pretty special to get all that together and then do the energies from them. So
plus, if you hate broccoli, then you can just drink the water.
There you go. That's right. That's exactly right. And if nothing else, warm up that water, put a tea bag in it, make it green tea, and then drink it, right?
There you go.
With some honey.
That's right.
That's the way to eat broccoli.
Well, that's how you get your greens, right?
Right.
That's right. That's exactly right. It's so funny. My parents literally had to strap me to a chair and tell me I wasn't going to get off that chair until I ate my broccoli. This is in the day when wiener wraps were big, macaroni and cheese with chopped hot dogs was big, and those TV tray dinners.
Yep.
And as kids, there was always two things on that tray dinner I would just love. And then it came time to the vegetables, and it was like, oh no, I actually like the vegetables now, but I see kids nowadays. I've got a goddaughter who's 13, and God, you can't get that kid to eat vegetables to save her life. She's all about chicken nuggets and French fries. So, gosh, if there's a way we can actually get her to drink the water, even if she doesn't know, then she's still getting the benefits. So, I'm thinking about it for parents that have those kids that have very set, eating, itineraries of what they exactly want, and you really have to arm wrestle them. And actually, since I was one of those kids, I guess I kind of relate to that. But that's phenomenal, and it creates a lot of value. And as a prepper's package, it's just good to have that around, because you just don't know in this day and age from one week to the next, where things can be. But if you've got that, as we touched on at the beginning, once you've got that plasma energy vial, that is going to charge water and put those nutrients in that water for the rest of your life. So it's a very nominal investment, but something that can really give you a lot of benefit in the long term. Whether that's happens or not, you still are incorporating getting those energies from drinking water. And so, the more that you get into your body, the better.
And
Yes.
Sean, I'll back up on one thing you're doing, and that's with the greenhouse. And I've got a friend down in Wyoming. They had the heaters go out on their greenhouse, and she had sprayed plasma energy all over them, the plants, and was using them out there. The plants did not freeze, but water that was standing in a can did freeze. And the plants that she did say, there was one large plant that froze, and it was probably kind of a tropical plant. But she said everything else, when she went back out and sprayed them and everything, revived and did okay. So if you run into questions and things, I'll hook you up with her, because she's very knowledgeable about using the plasma energy in her plants and everything. And she's the one who got me to let people know to use the new tech frequency relief with the plants.
Right.
Because she saw such a difference.
Yeah. So you touched on Heavenly Thunderbolt. That's one of my favorite ones that you make. But the other thing, because there's over 60 different plasma energy energies, or different ones, different SKUs that are there. So we talked earlier about finding ones that resonate you. Today we talked about autism, we talked about diabetes. We talked before we went on air that a lot of people are using these for stiffness, soreness, arthritis, by just spraying the plasma energy water on Band-Aids, putting 2 Band-Aids on one side of the wrist, 1 Band-Aid on the other, and using the greater energy to push to the less energy, but being able to send the energy through the body through using that plasma energy. But there are so many things that this can address and that this is using to assist with. So once again, Lynn, it's plasmaenergysolution.com. I have it on our website. So a lot of times they come to my site, but I'm just linking them back to yours. But I always tell people, like we said earlier, go in there and find the ones that specifically resonate with you, with what you're looking for. It could be more energy, it could be Superman, like the one, or Superwoman, right? But there's just so many of those available. So the one thing I always point out is that we're talking about just a handful of things, because obviously we don't want the call to go too terribly long. Each time we normally talk about something a little different. But if you're hearing this for the first time, or you've got an energy there that you're using and you're thinking about getting another one, take a look and go back to the website. And if you use the USA MedBed code, which is our code, you get a 15% discount. So you can use that at checkout and actually save even more money.
Correct. And I will put a caveat on that. When we do our packages that are already discounted, an additional discount does not apply. But if they're also ordering single vials, still put the discount in, because it will take the discount off everything else in your order.
Right.
So, yeah. So I just want to clarify that, because it's human nature that we like to double dip.
Exactly. Of course. And it doesn't hurt to ask, right?
Right.
It never hurts to ask. So, well, that's another great call. I'm glad we're getting this started at the end of February, but it's really going to lead into what's coming up for March. And I know we'll have more stuff in April. But before we sign off, Lynn, is there anything you'd like to say to everybody before we go?
I just want to thank you for watching, and thank you, Sean, for having us on. And go to plasmaenergysolution.com. We have a lot of blogs, videos, free reports, testimonials, frequently asked questions, and there's just lots of information there for you if you have questions.
Lynn, you do a phenomenal job on all your newsletters, constantly researching things going on in the world, addressing current world conditions with different energies, whether it's with different types of flu or you know, anything going on, you're always there right on the cusp of that. And you really do a lot of research. You put out a great email newsletter. So anybody that does go on there while you're there, sign up for the newsletter and start getting that and really get yourself in the know and stay on top of a lot of this stuff. And there'll always be things that Lynn and Stephanie are able to offer that'll assist you to kind of help you, you know, get through some of the ups and downs here that we go through on the planet. Steph, anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to go back to a little bit of a earlier part of our conversation, and just when we were talking about water and its intention and all of that, to simplify, because sometimes the science can get overwhelming. There are many passages in the Bible and biblical references to living water and what water actually is. And so for me, that's where I place my faith in it, and that works for me. So just to simplify it for some people who may not be super sciencey.
Right. Well, you know, honestly, and when you get to the Bible and you get to a lot of what was going on back in those days, those people were way smarter than anybody gives them credit for. They understood a lot of this. In fact, the more you really dig, the more you really understand how advanced they were on so many different levels. So, you know, I think it's actually good, because I think many times what's happened is that that technology and that knowledge and understanding was there at one point, and then somewhere along the way we've kind of lost it. Now we're kind of getting back and figuring it out again. But to give credit to those that came before us, and obviously the Bible being a very you know, spiritual piece of literature, it's good to know that this is stuff that was embedded in that, so that we would be able to pick it up if we did lose it, and just in this case reconfirm that this is something that people have known about and done in the past. So that's actually a really good way of kind of you know, giving out some information for those that might need a little bit more clear of an understanding on it.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, as always, it's great to see you. I love you both. You're awesome. I have so much fun hanging out with you, and I appreciate everything you do. I love the products. I'm your biggest fan. Anybody out there that says that, just let them know that they come under me. I'm the #1 fan, and she's down below me. But I love you both, and I know you're doing a lot of great stuff also with Angie, and there's others out there now that are really starting to, you know, help get the word out. So thank you for everything you do. I love you both. Have an awesome afternoon, and we will talk again soon.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
We love you.
Love and blessings.
All right, thank you so much. And I'm going to sign off, and I'll stay with me for just a second.